Monroe County Public Defender Julie Cianca. My name is Chris Chichester. I live in Rochester, New York. I have been in jail 6 times, and 6 times a prosecutor's not talked in court. A prosecutor doesn't talk in court because I have not committed a crime. And these psychopaths at the district attorney's office, the sheriff's office, are concocting crimes for me. Monroe County Public Defender Julie Cianca. What are the names of my prosecutors? This is the payroll for the district attorney's office. Who is it? You know who it is. Tell me the names. Christopher.chichester@mail.com. Christopher.chichester@mail.com. Christopher Chichester, 620 Park Avenue, PMB number 361, Rochester, New York 14614. That's my UPS box. That is on the email that I'm sending to you. Those are 2 ways to contact me. Tell me the names of my prosecutors of silence, Monroe County Public Defender Julie Cianca, and you will refuse. That's corruption. That's corruption anywhere in the United States of America, not just for you. Who is it? These are cowards. These are psychopaths. These are extremists that work for Sandra Dorley. And you know the names of the cowards, the psychopaths, and extremists. And you're going to refuse to tell me. So, this is the Freedom of Information Law that was sent on January 8th. It's written in red. Psychopaths like the color red, Julie Cianca. I've sent this to them 50 plus times over 18 months. This is the information I demand the most because the Appellate Division of State Supreme Court is where an attorney is disbarred. I will seek disbarment for every single one of my prosecutors' silence. How am I in jail once when a prosecutor doesn't talk in court? Is the lunatic fringe to be in jail for any American citizen when a prosecutor doesn't talk in court? 6 times that's befallen me. This is January 8, 2023. Documentation for the case, Christopher Chichester for Paul C. Metz in Penn Court. What is the name of the prosecutor? Sandra Dorley. On the same day, documentation for the case of Christopher Chichester for John P. Lomenzo Jr. in Penn Court. What is the name of the prosecutor, Sandra Dorley? Pardon me. That's John P. Lomenzo Jr., Paul C. Metzler. And then the third one, documentation for the case of Christopher Chichester, New York State Supreme Court for Alex Renzi. What's the name of the prosecutor, Sandra Dorley? So, I want to be accurate, state facts accurately, and talk to you accurately. What is the name of the prosecutor for John P. Lomenzo Jr. in Penn Court? What is the name of the prosecutor before Paul C. Metzler in Penn Court? What is the name of the prosecutors before Alex Renzi in New York State Supreme Court? You know the names. Julie Cianca, Christopher.Chichester@mail.com. 620 Park Avenue, PMB, number 361, Rochester, New York, 14604. What's not to understand? Look at my face, Monroe County Public Defender Julie Cianca. Because I have to try to achieve equanimity when I'm on here. Because I am an innocent man. The confirmation that I'm an innocent man is a prosecutor's never talked in court. If this is anybody in your family, Monroe County Public Defender Julie Cianca, or these psychopaths in Penfield Town Court, Paul C. Metzler, John P. Lomenzo Jr., James C. Mully Jr., and Alex Renzi in New York State Supreme Court, sentencing a friend or a family member of yours to jail when your friend or family member is innocent, when the prosecutor doesn't talk in court, I guarantee you would approach or have the same demeanor I do, which is anger. Now, about anger in your office. Mark Phillips and Gina Harper have defended me. And I went from having respect and admiration for Mark and Regina to complete and total contempt. And this is why. Monroe County Public Defender Julie Cianca. You open your mouth when it comes to you, Julie Cianca? Because you don't. This is you. Refusing. I'm not just putting this in a mail and hoping it gets there. This is you, Julie Cianca. So you obviously know my identity. Did Mark and Regina tell you not to open your mail? You know I'm demanding the names of my prosecutors. That's why I refuse to open this. That's insane. Insane is a word I used over and over. It's taxpayer-supported public proceeding. That's a courtroom. How do you look at this? Public defender Julie Cianca and refuse to open it. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. You're a threat to justice everywhere in Monroe County. What you are is a de facto employee of the district attorney's office. You know the names. This is not information I'm demanding of you that you don't know and don't have and can't locate. You know it. You have it. You can locate it. Julie Cianca refused. Just a complete, total disgrace. It's not once either. Here you are again, refusing. Julie Cianca. And here you are again, refusing. Julie Cianca. That's 3 times. And here's Mark Phillips refusing. Mark, what are the names of our prosecutors? Here's Mark Phillips refusing. Mark, what are the names of our prosecutors? 2. Mark Phillips refusing. 3. What are the names of our prosecutors? Mark Phillips. Regina Harper. What are the names of our prosecutors? 1. Regina Harper. What are the names of our prosecutors? 2. Regina Harper. What are the names of our prosecutors? 3. Regina Harper. What are the names of our prosecutors? 4. So, they have company. Jansen McNair. This is a patronage hire. The Office of Public Integrity who has no integrity. Jansen McNair. I'm telling him I'm being violently attacked by Sheriff Office employees. He must have seen me on YouTube. That's a guess. I could be incorrect. I don't have the arrogance and I'm right about everything. I'm going to demand his salary, just like I will. I'm going to use the Freedom of Information Law upon you, Julie Cianca, to demand your salaries for every public employee at the Public Defender's Office, and you refuse. Patronage hire Jansen McNair returns my mail to me. Patronage hire Jansen McNair returns my mail to me. So that's a disgrace. What I'm going to hear from you, Julie Cianca, is silence. Total silence. I just think it's an absolute and total disgrace that you're refusing to disclose names to me. And Tom Baxter is the cliche that he's above the law, and Sandra Doyle is the cliche that she's above the law. This is January 10th. I'm just going to read the first one of these. There are 70 in here. January 10th, all 7, and they refused. There's corruption in contracting. And since Sandra Doyle is corrupt, I'm demanding to know her contracting practices. If you were asked, Public Defender Julie Cianca, is Sandra Doyle corrupt? Is your answer no? Because you're in a delusional, psychotic 1984 if you don't think Sandra Doyle is corrupt. You think she comports herself with the highest degree of character, integrity, honesty, and ethics. And the proof of it is she has what she calls a conviction integrity unit. Claims of innocence, it says on her website. I don't have a claim of innocence. I am innocent. She refused to respond to this January 10th. Total number of contracts signed by District Attorney Sandra Doyle purchased products, commodities, goods, materials from Monroe County District Attorney's Office. She refused. I think I have the same one for Todd Baxter. This is the vehicles here. When I worked as a public employee, it was a status symbol. I worked for the governor, majority leader in Albany, and for Congressman Laura Smith, Senator Olympia Stone, Washington, D.C. Employee had in a vehicle, that was something. I wanted to know if Sandra Doyle's employees have vehicles, and if this pathetic diva has a chauffeur. This says the contract signed by District Attorney Sandra Doyle in the Monroe County District Attorney's Office to purchase vehicles for the Monroe County District Attorney's Office to include 1, the name of the contract, the total amount expended, tax dollars, total number of vehicles purchased, make and model, January 10th. This one I'm going to tell Thomas B. DiNapoli, employees of the District Attorney's Office, because you're all copied on here, that your disgusting sick hat boss, who doesn't know if she's a Democrat or Republican, just like Todd Baxter, refused to answer about contracting. Over and over and over, they're refusing. This is here. A foil I sent on the 18th. This is the policy message. This is the 5'2" repeat suit boy. This is the prosecutor. The reason why I hold this up. Regina Harper said to me, quote, the prosecutor's not backing down. This is the boy. This is the 3-piece suit boy. What's his name, Perry Douglas? You know his name. I contacted you on January 1 of this year, 90 days ago, demanding this information. This says the documentation for the case for Christopher Chichester for policy message from Pemberton Court. What is in the prosecutor? Total silence. This boy and $28,000 bald-headed, skin-headed widow, policy message decided I'm going to be in Livingston County Jail in Geneseo. 2 people decide a citizen's going to be in jail. That's insane. When I move back to Albany, which I hope should be soon, I'll ask the meet with state legislature about changing this law. Bench trial. It's not a trial. It's being presented in front of one corrupt judge and being declared guilty. If someone would have asked me when I was in elementary school, one of my elementary school teachers asked me, can you go to jail if the prosecutor in a courtroom doesn't talk? I would have said no, because elementary school children know that's insane. So, over and over, Julie Cianca refusing to tell me. I expect the district attorney's office to refuse. This is December 22nd. Again, when you think about Todd K. Baxter, always have the word corruption in your mind. This is why he's above the law, to use that cliche. The contract signed by Sheriff Todd K. Baxter to purchase firearms from Monroe County Sheriff's Office employees to include 1, the name of the firearms contractor, the number of firearms purchased, total amount of tax dollars expended to purchase firearms. He refused, which I wasn't surprised. You should demand that information. You know why? Monroe County Public Defender Julie Cianca? Because you're a taxpayer. So here we have one of my favorite words to describe these repulsive, sickening psychopaths and hacks. Insane. Sheriff Todd Baxter, District Attorney Sandra Dorley. This is dated March 28, 2023. Here's your email right here. Julie Cianca, which I believe I have correct. Julie Cianca at monroecounty.gov. I know I have these other ones correct. I know I have Mark Phillips' email correct and Regina Harper's email correct. March 28th. Read the attached PDFs, mail the names of my prosecutor's files to the addresses below. Resign. Insane. YouTube, $413,000 First Assistant District Attorney Perry Duckles identifying prosecutor's silence. And again to you. Former Monroe County Public Defender Julie Cianca identifying prosecutor's silence. It is corruption. It is insane for you to look at documentation while I'm telling you to disclose these names for me and for you to refuse. Every single one of these here is me demanding the names of my prosecutors. This is, in other words, one of my favorite words to use to describe Todd Baxter, Sandra Dorley, and Alex Renzi. The prosecutor assigned to my appearance for Alex Renzi decided to elevate me to him. He's just not any hack over there at the hackocracy with their 18 in New York State Supreme Court. He's the hack. He's the supervising judge. He's Emory Law School University graduate. And I said to him in one of my appearances, you had to go all the way to Georgia to get your degree. February 26th, here is Psychopaths Incorporated. That's how I refer to the district attorney's office, the sheriff's office. February 26th, mail the names of prosecutors assigned to my court appearance. The address below 620 Park Avenue in Rochester, New York. Read the attached freedom of information law documents that was sent to the United States Attorney to Western District of New York, Trini Ross resign. I believe that if Ms. Ross, the United States Attorney, was in Buffalo, demanded of you, Julie Cianca and Sandra Dorley, the names of my prosecutor's silence, you would refuse, and that's the same. So, again here, over and over, you're just simply refusing to comply with the law. This is the law, freedom of information law. So that's called Freaks. Again, directly to Perry Duckles. This is February 26th, $113,000 he's paid to refuse to identify his fellow taxpayer-supported prosecutors in a public proceeding. I'm not asking for confidential information on how to build a case. It's a name, disclosure of a name that you have and you know, Julie Cianca. So it says here, Perry Duckles, see right up there, $113,000. I tell him, mail the names of your prosecutors assigned to my court appearance, the address below at 620 Park Avenue, and he refused. This is again on February 24th, the same thing, called identification. I wanted with a simple word there. And he refused, which is not a surprise. One judge, back to my experience in Albany, where I worked for the majority leader and governor. I did not know, despite 8 years of employment, a long time ago, when I was a young man, that one judge could sentence a defendant to jail. And now I know, because that's happened to me 6 times. That's why I call this one judge. One judge, the corruption of Sheriff Todd Baxter and District Attorney Sandra Dorley. They know that one judge can deliver me to jail. And they know me because I read the payroll for the sheriff's office. They all know what they're paid because of me. And they initially were refusing to comply and send me the payroll. I think I had to write the 420 times before I received the payroll from each. And I went right to YouTube. So this is called Vice and Answers. Again, February 19th, Vice and Answers. They refused over and over. They're refusing. This is Sheriff Todd Baxter. This is all in their office. They've received this at the Sheriff's Office, Todd Baxter and his employees. Registered mail return receipt, UPS, Federal Express. This is Sheriff Todd Baxter's $16,000 pay raise freak, $83,000, $291 Shannon and Meyer. A warrant for my arrest for a parking lot I've walked through 4,000 times. This is how she concocts criminal contempt second from me. She wants to arrest me because I'm walking through the parking lot for 4,000 times. A man named Nayraj Shah, 50-year-old man, lives with a 7-year-old mother, starts to scream at me. He goes to the sheriff's office about me walking through his parking lot. Shannon Meyer, this corrupt sick hacker, wants to arrest me, and this is how she does it. She calls me on the phone. I talk to her for an hour. I say, why are you calling me? People walk through this parking lot every day. That's what my language to her. It's the language I say all the time. It includes my excellent friend Adam, who lived next to me. The only woman across the street from me, Penfield High School students. This Nayraj Shah, 2033 Penfield Road, lives with his mother. Going to the sheriff's office is only about me. So where's my 14th Amendment right to protection of laws, Cianca? This nauseating sick hack tells a man named Steve Desmond of Broccola Tree and Lawn Care, Roger tracked to buy the residence at 26 cents from Drive's Christopher Child System. He comes out of his residence, we can arrest him. That's not a crime, Cianca, which is what I did. And I'm on video doing it. A surveillance device. When I state the lunatic fringe is exactly what it is. So, I'm going to show you the lunatic fringe. Blue wall silence here on Todd Baxter. So, Monroe County Public Defender Julie Cianca, the Central Intelligence Agency uses what Todd Baxter's used upon me. And they were initially lying about it. I come outside, I tell Steve Desmond, this is Broccola Tree and Lawn Care racket. Nobody owns the land next to my residence. I walk back inside. 6 Monroe County Sheriff officer employees are there. I see Shannon Meyer run into my backyard. This freak falls down on her face. There she is laying in my backyard dirt. I hear this psychotic pounding on my door. I now know they don't ring the doorbell or knock. I walk outside, I say, what's the problem? The Monroe County Sheriff Office employee from Jonestown, 6 of them there, says, we just want to talk to you outside. I walk around on my front lawn. They surround me and I go to handcuffs. They take me downtown. They put me in a holding cell. I cannot reach the toilet because they handcuffed me inside the holding cell. So there I am, sitting in my own urine, handcuffed inside a bathroom for just telling a man on his tractor, Steve Desmond, Broccola Tree and Lawn Care, nobody owns the land next to my residence. The reason why I know nobody owns that land is Timothy Murphy of the Monroe County Office of Real Property Tax Service can't confirm it, and this Layla Kumar and Raj Shah don't have it. So there I am sitting in my own urine when I haven't committed a crime. And a Monroe County Sheriff Office employee came to me with this gruesome smile, and on his phone is the video image of me moving my right arm, where I'm going like this. I'm telling Desmond nobody owns that land. My right arm is moving like this. I'm looking at myself on the phone of the Monroe County Sheriff Office employee from this. This is not the color photo. That's high resolution, but you can see it here. That's it right there. Elliot Walter works at this business, 2025 Pemberton Road. You're copied on here. Elliot, how many times do I have to tell you to tell me the answer? Is this private technology, your technology to secure your building, or these hacks and sociopaths the sheriff's office buy and install for me? What's the answer, Elliot? Sign for your mail when it comes to you. And this is what I wrote to Todd Baxter, January 16, 2023. This photograph is why you're a fanatic. This photograph is why you're an extremist. This photograph is why you're a liar. This photograph is why I know the name. You're $67,000 disgusting hack, Shannon Meyer. This photograph is why people hate the police. I never had any hatred for police before I moved to Monroe County with my then girlfriend, Laura Riley, in 2012. I have such an intense hatred for the cops in general and Todd Baxter and his employees in particular that I believe it can damage my health. But since I'm in excellent physical condition, that perhaps is a day that's far off in the future. But that's the lunatic fringe, Julie Cianca. How many times? This is the Freedom of Information Law. I moved. I live over on Park Avenue now. This is when I lived next to the transit center. All these Freedom of Information, I think there's 2,000 documents on there, multiple photographs of it. The sick lunatic fringe. I've talked about this repeatedly. Sheriff's office coming to my residence, demand my dog. This is this Layla Kumar and Raj Shah, 2033 Pemberton Road. Do you own a dog, Julie Cianca? What would you think if you're walking your dog the same way for 7 years or 4,000 times? And there's this Benito Mussolini skinhead, Todd Baxter, at your front door, and his employees demanding your dog. This is why people hate the police, Julie Cianca. So I was locked out of my residence by my landlords, Giuseppe Spano and Antonino Spano. Giuseppe Spano was 47 years old, died of multiple sclerosis, and if hell's 5,000 degrees, that's not hot enough for him. So I get out of Livingston County Jail in Geneseo when Richard J. Seaman walked into the Penfield Public Library. I stand up at the computer because Richard J. Seaman and his partner stalked me into the library. Seaman runs at me, extends his arm, slams me in the head. So it's the force of Seaman's arm hitting me in the head. I fell down and my head slammed down on the ceramic tile. Seaman picks me up, frog marches me out the library, out the door, and down the hall waiting for me is Paul C. Metzer, convening Penfield Town Court. There's nobody from the district attorney's office there. 2 people are going to decide that I'm going to be in Livingston County Jail in Geneseo. Paul C. Metzer and his violent fanatic, Richard J. Seaman. I've said this repeatedly now on YouTube. What would you think if 2 people decided that a friend or family member for you, Julie Cianca, was going to be in jail and that your friend or family member was violently attacked first? Because I've had conversations with this Seaman. And I'm on YouTube. If you go to the YouTube box, type his name, Richard J. Seaman, you'll see me talking about him. 2 people decide a citizen is in jail. That should never happen anywhere in the United States of America. So Seaman attacks me, takes me down the hallway. There's Paul C. Metzer, Perry Douglas. Nobody from the district attorney's office is notified. And then I'm driven to Livingston County Jail in Geneseo. So, and this is when Regina Harper tells me, quote, The judge is holding you, end quote. Paul C. Metzer has me violently attacked, sentences me to Livingston County Jail. When a prosecutor from the district attorney's office, Perry Duckles, is not present, and then she's, quote, holding me, end quote, in jail. How's that constitutional? I don't know if it is. I will not state something where I don't have confidence that it's the truth. I don't believe that's constitutional, but I don't have certainty. So I'm going to be filling this out, Monroe County Public Defender Julie Cianca. I want to see your salaries at the Public Defender's Office, other information I'm demanding. So Julie Cianca, sign for your registered mail return receipt if I use registered mail return receipt, or open your UPS that is tracked by Centis. There's 200 documents in here. So what I send to you, Julie Cianca, I'm also going to be sending to Sheriff Todd Baxter and his employees, District Attorney Sandra Doyle and his employees, United States Attorney for Western District of New York, Trinity Ross, Alex Renzi, State Supreme Court, and these two hacks, Paul C. Metzer and James Milley Jr., and Penfordtown Court. So they're going to be getting this in the next 10 days, I believe at least 3 times. I don't know yet. I haven't quite decided yet. Monroe County Public Defender Julie Cianca is refusing to open her mail. So, January 24th, again, the corruption of Sandra Dorley, documentation for the case of Christopher Charges for John P. Lenzer Jr. in Penfordtown Court. What is the name of the prosecutor, Sandra Dorley? Documentation for the case of Christopher Charges for Paul C. Metzer in Penfordtown Court. What is the name of the prosecutor, Sandra Dorley? Nothing. That's the 5 for 23 piece of boy. And then one of these fanatics at the district attorney's office elevated me to Alex Renzi, the documentation for the case for Christopher Charges, New York State Supreme Court. Alex Renzi, what is the name of the prosecutor, Sandra Dorley? So I'm also demanding other information from Todd Baxter here. This is the FOIL watch, which I believe can enrage the citizens of Monroe County. And I believe that when I contact Thomas P. DiNapoli to control the state of New York, there are reasons why this is going to capture his attention. Out-of-state travel. Costs for taxpayers for all travel out of Monroe County, New York State by employees of the Monroe County Sheriff's Office. Because this is Michael T. Fowler and Corey Brown. I wrote their names down so I could have their salaries. Michael T. Fowler's paid $163,000. Corey Brown's paid $155,000. Corey Brown is paid $23,000 more than Todd Baxter. Michael Fowler's paid $31,000 more than Todd Baxter. Corey Brown and Michael Fowler are in Saratoga, New York, and demanding the cost of that trip. Todd Baxter is gouging taxpayers by sending Michael T. Fowler and Corey Brown to Saratoga, and demanding if Sandra Dorley went to the this is Todd Baxter. Cost of taxpayers of Saratoga, New York. Sheriff Todd Baxter exclude the expenditure of taxpayer dollars to attend the Undersheriff's Training Conference at Gideon Putnam Hotel in Saratoga Springs. I believe he sent his employees again to Saratoga. I've been to that track, I think, more than 100 times. It is the most beautiful county in all the state of New York. Monroe County Sheriff's Office employees should never be in Saratoga County because they work in Monroe County. It's the corruption of Todd Baxter. He's refusing over and over to disclose information to me like this. This has Lindsey Barron, the Monroe County Office of Mental Health, chasing me down Willow Pond Way in Penfield, which connects to Sanders Farm Drive where I used to live. The cost of the surveillance device, purchased with taxpayer dollars by Monroe County Sheriff Todd K. Baxter, fixed to a building at 2025 Penfield Road to monitor Christopher Charges, 26 Sanders Farm Drive, walks through the parking lot next to the building, and that's the lunatic fringe. I've sent this to him 50 times. One time I sent it to him, I think it was registered mail return receipt. And I'm coming back from Monroe. I want to just show this to you again. Because this is it. It's the black and white photo. You can still see it. It's not the high resolution color photo. That's it. I was on it. It's got a signed number called an ICN number. And they're going to lie about it. They have to lie about it. And they know they can humiliate me when I use this phrase surveillance device. I've been on this repeatedly because Regina Harper, your subordinate, sent me the links. So we know I'm accurately stating that this is a surveillance device. It can clearly be seen on 2025 Penfield Road, which is a business called Consumer Insights. This is how they're going to humiliate you because they're psychopaths. I finished my run. Willow Pond Way goes to Sanders Farm Drive. I see the Monroe County Sheriff's Office vehicle in my driveway. And I continue to run. I don't want any part of this. Lindsey Bound, the Monroe County Office of Mental Health, sees me, gets in the Monroe County Sheriff's Office vehicle. They follow me down Willow Pond Way, which goes to Wegmans. She's chasing me in the vehicle, and she's screaming outside the vehicle my name and saying she wants to talk to me about the surveillance device. I finally stopped because I had to. She gets out of the vehicle and I cut her off. I said, we're not talking about anything. These are the fanatics of the sheriff's office where I have seen myself on this fucking contraption called a surveillance device, and they're refusing to save its private technology, or if they bought it and fixed it for me using taxpayer dollars. That's what you have to work with. When you look at Todd Baxter, Julie Cianca, you need to think that he's drenched in corruption. When you look at Sandra Dorley, you need to think that she's drenched in corruption. Do you understand me? And you're drenched in corruption. You know why? I'll prove it right now. What are the names of my prosecutors? Monroe County Public Defender Julie Cianca, you refuse. Julie has a BA from the University of Notre Dame with entirely useful major in philosophy and then attended Albany Law School and was admitted to the bar in 1993. She started working at the Monroe County Public Defender's Office in 1994 and remained there through 2002. 2002, she worked for Ernst & Dress, practicing construction law not too long after. In 2003, she returned to public defense. University of Notre Dame, one of the most distinguished universities in the United States of America that you're a graduate of. And you failed to understand English language. Julie Cianca, what are the names of my prosecutors? How do you possibly, if you're watching me, refuse? How do you return this mail to me? University of Notre Dame graduate, Julie Cianca. I'm going to send it to you again. That's why I'm going to hold this up again. I'm going to tell you what not to do. Julie Cianca. So this is going to come back to you. I may even send these envelopes to you. That's your name right there. Monroe County Public Defender Julie Cianca. I'm going to put the Freedom of Information Law in here. I'm going to fill it out. Well, I'm telling you to disclose the names of my prosecutors and open your mail, either UPS, registered mail, return receipt, Federal Express. Don't do this. What's this? This is returning public documents to me. They're public documents because I'm banning public information. The Freedom of Information Law is a public document. What is wrong with you? It's that you're corrupt. What are the names of my prosecutors? Julie Cianca, you refuse. That's why you're corrupt. So, this is it. The foil. Got acquired the payroll for the sheriff's office and district attorney's office. They're refusing every single time. So I'm locked out of my residence. My ex-girlfriend took everything I owned to a storage locker in Webster, New York, and it's been cleaned out. It's gone. And she's refusing to tell me the facts and circumstances of my illegal eviction, which is without a court order. So when I write the criminal complaint about Anthony Ospano, who's 80 years old, he will not be prosecuted by the psychopath's district attorney's office because they'll conclude we can't prosecute an 80-year-old man. This is what I had to write to my ex-girlfriend, Laura Riley, about what's happened to me. This should never happen to anybody in the United States of America where I'm in jail. The doors are locked on me. I don't know the doors are locked. All my personal possessions moved out of a residence I've lived in for 8 years without my knowledge. When I got back from Livingston County Jail to the front door, I put the key in. It doesn't work. I go around to the back. The sliding glass door, which is broken, has been fixed. A spare key, which the New York Mets logo was underneath the porch, that's been removed. My girlfriend took all my things to a storage locker, my ex-girlfriend, pardon me, Laura Riley, and this is what I wrote to her. She's refusing to tell me the facts and circumstances of what happened. I don't have to do perhaps the most difficult thing in my life is write a criminal complaint about her because she's refusing to answer me. No human being ever in a relationship with someone should have to write language that I had to write. This is one of the most difficult things I had to do in my life, to write this to her. And she's refusing to tell me what happened. And she's right in the middle of this illegal eviction. It's illegal because there's no court order. Tell me what happened with my legal eviction. My legal eviction you participated in and refused to answer questions about. The law requires a court order to remove my personal possession, 26 Sanders Farm Drive in Penfield, New York, to a storage locker in Webster, New York. Do you know that fact about the law? You left possessions in the residence. What has happened to me is insane. The questions, what individual called you to come to where we used to live at 26 Sanders Farm Drive in Penfield, New York? Did the dead son, Giuseppe Spano, or the father, Anthony Ospano, call you? Did the dead son, Giuseppe Spano, the father, Anthony Ospano, use threatening language? Did the dead son, Giuseppe Spano, the father, Anthony Ospano, state my personal possession be thrown in the trash? What did you say to my sister Barbara paying for the storage locker? It is insane. I have to ask these questions. Our relationship ended. I'm forced to demand answers from you because you decided to inject yourself in my life. You decided to be in my life under a sick and delusional belief you're somehow helping me. I don't know if this is your email. It doesn't have your name. It means ludicrously would send. I don't know if you still live at 781 Winifred Drive in Webster. I don't know if you ever refused, why you refused to answer simple questions. I do know you exist in a state of indifference and decency, despite the fact we live 3 different residences together. What's my name? Where am I from? How long have you known me? Contact me. My address on Park Avenue below with the answers to these questions. Sign for your registered mail return receipt. When it arrives from me, you are unrecognizable. YouTube Laura Riley. If you go to YouTube and type her name, Laura Riley, see me talking to her. Christopher Chichester, 620 Park Avenue, PMB number 361, Rochester, 14604. I'm going to repeat what I wrote here for you, Julie Cianca. This is directed at you. This language here. Julie Cianca, pay attention. Contact me at my address at Park Avenue below with answers to these questions. Sign for your registered mail return receipt when it arrives from me. What's not to understand, Monroe County Public Defender Julie Cianca? What are the names of my prosecutors? It's insane for you to refuse to disclose these names to me, Monroe County Public Defender Julie Cianca. Monroe County Sheriff Office employees, Michael Radman, Kathy Miller, Scott Alberti. My name is Chris Chichester. I've been violently attacked repeatedly by Monroe County Sheriff Office employees at the Penfield Public Library by $75,000 Richard J. Seaton, by an unidentified Monroe County Sheriff Office employee at Wegmans and Monroe County Jail. Since I know the name and sound of Richard J. Seaton, it'll be easy for me to write the assault complaint about this psychopath. Richard J. Seaton and Paul C. Matson decided I'm going to be in Livingston County Jail, Tennessee. Two people decided when I'm violently attacked at the library, where they stalked me into the library. So, I believe that violence exacted upon me by Monroe County Sheriff Office employees means nothing to you, Michael Radler. Means nothing to you, William Teo. It means nothing to you, Kathleen Miller. And it means nothing to you, Scott Alberti. How old are you, Scott Alberti? Because I saw a photograph of you, I believe you were at an award ceremony promotion with Ty Baxter. Because I believe you're 50, over 50, but that's a guess. What's not a guess is you're 20 pounds overweight, and that's a disgrace. I've been demanding from Todd Baxter the physical fitness status at the sheriff's office for 18 plus months, and he's refused for 18 plus months. And as he is a veteran, he has taken the PT test, which used to require soldiers to push-ups, sit-ups, and a 2-mile run for a maximum score of 300 points. And Todd Baxter is placing the lives of his own Monroe County Sheriff Office employees at risk because his own Monroe County Sheriff Office employees are out of weight, no weight. And that's you, Scott Alberti. So I'm going to tell you about violence. I'm violently attacked at the Penfield Public Library by Richard J. Seaton. Now, I'm not going to dwell on that here in this 10 minutes that I have on this app, because I know his name, and he won't be fired when I write the criminal complaint about him, because Todd Baxter loves violence. This is the name of the Monroe County Sheriff Office employee. I don't know, but the female employee with the Marine-style haircut and tattoos can identify this psychopath that works for Todd Baxter, and this is why this app I use called TikTok, it's called Psychopaths Todd Baxter. Sworn officers of law with a badge and holstered weapon are common thugs and criminals like Richard J. Seaton paid $75,000 to stalk me into the public library, and then Paul C. Matson decided I'm going to be in Livingston County Jail in Tennessee. So, I'm walking into Fairport to go to Gold's Gym, and I reach the pharmacy entrance to Wegmans. 5 Monroe County Sheriff Office vehicles converge on me at once. One of these cretins, one of these psychopaths, one of these thugs exits his vehicle, runs at me, drives his shoulder into my hip, and my head slammed down on the concrete pavement, Scott Alberti. What do you think about what I said? What do you think about what happened to me? This is a violent attack upon me that your employee with the Marine-style haircut and tattoos can identify. And you know what she's going to say about this violent assault attack upon me by a Monroe County Sheriff Office employee where I had to get an MRI? Nothing. She's the blue wall of silence. Every single one of those Monroe County Sheriff Office employees in those 5 vehicles, 10 plus psychopaths are there for me, 10 plus psychopaths are stalking me in Penfield, will say they didn't see anything. That's exactly right. They didn't see anything. I'm in this MRI tube and the technician is saying to me, don't move your leg, Chris. This is exact words. I'm haunted by that language. Don't move your leg, Chris. My foot was moving involuntarily. What do you think about what I'm saying to you? Julie Cianca, Monroe County Public Defender. Silence of violence. That's what you should be thinking. I have to tell you what you need to think. The silence of the district attorney's office, these psychopaths are delivering me to jail. The violence of the sheriff's office, these psychopaths are accompanying it. Monroe County Public Defender, Julie Cianca. I have been in jail 6 times. 6 times the prosecutor's not talked in court. You know the names of my prosecutors. Mail the names of my prosecutors to Christopher.Chichester@mail.com or Christopher Chichester, 620 Park Avenue, PMB number 361, Rochester, New York, 14604, and you will refuse because you, Monroe County Public Defender Julie Cianca, are corrupt.